Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you all for taking your time to join us today at the Cyber Warriors Conclave. We're going to be connecting with C-suite and senior executives responsible for protecting their organization's critical infrastructures with innovative solution providers and renowned information security experts. We learn from these experts on how to protect and best defend our schools, colleges, and universities from cyber attacks during these interactive panels and fast-track discussions. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our partners and sponsors, Aruba Networks, Network Perception, FireEye Mandiant, and Veeam Software. The conclave will kick off with a case study presentation on From Hybrid to High Flex by Aruba Networks, which will be followed by a panel discussion on the importance of cybersecurity within the education sector, with participants from Qatar International School, Ideal Indian School, Qatar Finland International School, University of Aberdeen, and Brilla Public School, Doha. I'd like to now call on Michael Netterberg, who's a consulting systems engineer at HPE Aruba. The screen is all yours, Michael.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and thank you for everyone that has joined this evening. Let me share my screen here and we can kick off the session. So just a quick introduction from myself. I am Michael Netterberg.
Sorry, Michael, can you switch on your camera as well, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Are you seeing my screen there?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, so good evening to everyone. So just a quick introduction from myself. I'm Michael Netterberg. I'm a consulting systems engineer with HPE Aruba Networks. I've been with HPE for 11 years now, and it's been a phenomenal transformation and change within the networking industry as a whole. And it's been very exciting, working with an organization like HPE in terms of, well, one of the forefront and the drivers for networking as a whole. So today we're really focusing on the education space, and I'll be talking about hybrid to high flex, high flex being the new phrase that's running around the industry as a whole. I put a high-level agenda together here. So I'll be talking a little bit about Aruba's journey. If you're not very familiar with us, I'll run through a case study with one of our education customers here. And then where sort of we've been, and education has, gone through this massive transformation over the last year and a half in, due to the pandemic that's been running around the world, and really talking about that and what education challenges have occurred and what universities and education institutions have done to be able to get ready for sort of the next phase, as it were. And then I'll talk a bit about our Aruba ESP offering and how it solves many challenges that our customers are facing today, as well as Silver Peak SD-WAN. And then a small little bit about why Aruba. So starting off, if you're new to Aruba, let me just start by telling you a little bit about us. We started with a next-gen Wi-Fi solution. The organization started back in 2002. And we shipped our first products to our customers in 2003. And the Wi-Fi solution, grew, and we complemented our portfolio, organically, as it were, as well as with a number of strategic acquisitions to address the complexities of BYOD, application of performance, with IoT coming in, zero trust security frameworks, location services, and of course, cloud networking. We then joined forces with our parent company, Hewlett Packard Enterprise, to really be able to deliver an end-to-end wireless and wired portfolio that extends not only from the access layer, but all the way through to data center solutions. And since then, we've introduced our SD-WAN offering, especially with the acquisition of Silver Peak, our AI ops offering with artificial intelligence and machine learning, and then our seamless integration and seamless switch over for 5G and Wi-Fi roaming, dragging in also application performance, monitoring, and then today now more prevalent than ever is doing contact tracing solutions on our customers' existing architecture. In fact, the team's efforts have delivered numerous awards over the years, and also being a leader in Gartner's Magic Quadrant for over 15 years running. And also we're number one in 6 out of 6 of the categories in the Gartner's Critical Capabilities report, which is actually a lot more interesting for us as systems engineers, where the Critical Capabilities report, as I'm sure you're aware, provides a deeper dive into the providers, the specific capabilities of the products and the services that we offer and present to the world, and really test them against multiple different usage scenarios. So really taking what our marketing is saying and what the products actually say in the data sheets and actually testing them in real live environments versus the traditional Magic Quadrant, which is a lot more company-based, R&D-based, funds available, a more broader analysis of the vendor itself in the market, and it presents a vendor's broadly assessed performance, relative to others in the same market, whereas the Critical Capabilities is more technology focused. So before I talk about the case study today and what we have done on their technology journey, one thing I wanted to highlight, which really resonates not only with this customer, but many of the customers we talk to, and is one of our key points in technology use and overall satisfaction. It's really our drive to create positive technology use experiences at the edge. As we all know, there is nothing worse than, having a bad experience, and bad experiences ultimately drive negativity, which ultimately causes frustration, unnecessarily stress to the users, and ultimately it equates to a loss of productivity. And the edge for us is where the people are, where the action takes place, where people learn, they visit, they go, as well as the places at the edge are familiar to us, our schools, the universities, maybe a coffee shop, or even at your home, or whilst you may be traveling. New experiences are being created in these places all the time. And experiences that really bring the digital world into our physical world is absolutely key to us as an organization. Delivering those smart digital experiences by blending mobile, cloud, IoT technologies, and delivering amazing experiences to the users in every place they might be interacting with the technology. So, if you imagine a student where their experiences become personalized, they're frictionless and relevant, that happens at, the right time, in the right place. And imagine the value and the impact that these experiences then create on that student or that faculty member, wherever they are interacting with the technology of your institution. So the customer I wanted to talk to you about today, has undergone a tremendous transformation over the last few years. It's a multi-campus environment with around 50 buildings, over 15,000 students and faculty, and it continues to grow on what seems like a daily basis to me. This is a strategic customer for us, and we continue working very closely and transforming their environment and really bringing and enabling their technology into this new post-pandemic phase. So I've listed 5 of the key challenges that they had been facing. These were sort of the 5 top, as it were. They had many others. And we are continuously working with them to solve and evolve these. The first one, and most possibly the most challenging, and the one we see a lot with the customers out there, and was critically important for this customer, was evolving a very siloed and unnecessarily complex network architecture that was introduced by the incumbent, into something that is scalable and agile enough to cater for their current needs at the time, as well as future demands. And I'm incredibly thankful that we did this very early on, as it gave them the flexibility and the agility they really required during the pandemic. And we are still in process of migrating some of the older buildings, but that foundation was laid very early on, where we could easily evolve even the existing networks to be able to bring them on par. The other key thing was ease of access to information. It's absolutely key to any environment and to any network. And this was shown more so ever again during the pandemic, where they required the flexibility to easily connect between their cloud services as well as their on-premise equipment now from outside of the campus. With this at the same time came the rising threats that were introduced from IoT devices, an empty campus, student devices, and then more so than ever, the connectivity from outside the campus, as well as then interacting with their cloud services. And this is where a zero trust architecture was absolutely key to mitigating any of their current as well as their future threats that may come into their environment. Then the other key thing for them, they had a massive economic and what we call resource headwinds. And it's a challenge I came across specifically with this customer, as well as, or we see it again, or wherever we interact with our customers, and where they are being asked to do a lot more with less. Budgets are cut, but the demands being placed on the network continue to grow and outpace the network evolution as a whole. And then we have these resources side, which are also cut and reduced by the budget constraints, and then they end up in this break fix mode or that firefighting mode. So for this customer to evolve, it was key we introduced our HPE financial services to alleviate the budget constraints for them, to move the network into the future, to provide the stability and the scalability, as well as the automation, so the IT resources could get back to innovating instead of firefighting network faults on a daily basis, moving them back to that innovation part of what they actually love doing, instead of spending 80% or 90% of their time fixing basic network faults. The other big thing was business intelligence for them. It's something we continue to work on with our customer, and this is to provide more analytics to their systems. One element of it, just as an example, is they lease their network services to other entities in their environment, and they require the usage information for cross-billing. And now we evolve that existing architecture into contact tracing capabilities and a location awareness, as well as usage analytics. And this is, as the new academic year kicks off, especially now during COVID, where education is looking at going back, and having awareness of the context and the space usage is absolutely key for sanitation purposes and potential infection tracing. So if we look at some of the benefits that this customer has experienced over time and what benefits they had realized, and why they ultimately chose working with us, and they continue to work with us because it's been a number of years that we've been partnered with them, really working with them and transforming their environment. We had originally worked with this customer very, very early on, and to show the benefits and the clear innovational roadmap that we have, especially in the education space. It is a key focus area for Aruba, and a lot of innovation and ideas come from education. And in fact, we have an education working group within the HPE Aruba organization that works closely with many educational institutions globally, where a lot of ideas and technology uses come out. And there's nothing like a young student to innovate on technology use. We see it all the time, how they are changing and using technology all the time. I mean, even today, still, it baffles my mind that my 5-year-old can almost run rings around my wife when it comes to using technologies. Secondly, by making some key changes to their environment and introducing Aruba solutions that could not only solve their challenges, but they could immediately see the enhancement in performance, and the overall user experience was greatly improved, as well as bringing in that stability and that automation that they craved. And we continue to make experience improvements as time goes on to their environment. The other clear element here was really delivering that security model that they required. Utilizing a zero trust architecture and framework, it delivers a huge security advantage to our customers by not trusting any device on the network until it is proven secure. Especially where in today's world, where traditional detection and alerting methods have become too slow with all the new attack methodologies. And by the time these older systems make you aware, the damage in many cases has already been done. And what was key here was being able to deploy this model, not only on Aruba equipment, but on their legacy hardware at the same time, and really being able to secure their whole estate, from a very early stage. And then being able to give them the flexibility with our financial services to innovate and change their environment now, even during budget constraints, and overall lowering their TCO for their institution. So for us, this customer has become way more of a partner for us. And we continue our journey with them into the next phase of networking, where cloud services are becoming more prevalent than ever. And our new innovations, which I'll talk about in a little bit with ESP, our Edge Services platform, and our Silver Peak SD-WAN, really start to stand out and become crucial to delivering a network for the future. So in the next couple slides, I just wanted to go back in time a little and the incredible journey that education has endured, during the pandemic, before I speak to you how ESP and Silver Peak solve so many challenges for this new phase. And I'm sure, you guys that are involved with education and are working within an education institution, a lot of these things and challenges I'll talk about will probably ring true with you. So what we've heard over the last while is, we're moving from this hybrid to what is being called the high flex model within the industry, adapting the high flex model, which is the instructional approach that combines both face-to-face as well as online learning. So we saw this massive transformational period when COVID started hitting the news headlines and the whispers of lockdowns and school closures, were being murmured at seemingly every corner. I mean, I remember my wife coming to me saying, the kids are going to be homeschooled, with terror in her eyes. And our education customers reached out to us almost immediately to see how we could help them in this transformational period. At the outset of the pandemic, most countries decided to close their schools and their educational institutions as well as universities. And a scary number came out earlier this year. If you look at the UNESCO data, over 13% of all learners, or close to 230 million students, are still impacted by those closures today. And part of that is the educational institution closures. Most of them moved to emergency remote teaching, as it were, in whatever form was most feasible for their systems and their architectures. And in some cases, synchronous, others asynchronous. And what became very clear is that most educational institutions were not fully prepared for the immediate switch, especially around dealing with technology and remote access challenges. We as an organization, we prioritized all healthcare and education customers to help them connect and provide services as quickly and as feasible as possible, but in a very secure manner at the same time. And now with the new academic year upon us, there are a lot of questions about next steps that require tremendous flexibility and agility from the networks to be able to address all possible scenarios and options. In this next phase, what appeared to be temporary seems to have become the new normal, and educators and administrators have to be able to adapt to both in-person as well as online, or variations of this in this high flex instruction, for what seems to now still be many months to come. So if we have a look at some of the key things that had come out and what are the educational institutions done in the past year and a half to move to teaching and learning online, we saw 4 major priorities really come to the fore. As faculty and staff and students are working and learning from home, it became very clear that security and secure access had to be the highest priority. Bringing in that zero trust architecture, bringing in those security models to secure your cloud services as well as your on-premise environment and your campus. In addition, which is quite interesting to see, where the FCC had actually recommended a connection rate of 25 megabits per second for any advanced usage that included video conferencing or voice over IP calls. And that really became necessary in households now to support everyone in the family for not only learning at home, but the whole family was at home, the work was at home, the entertainment was at home. So one really had to bring in that higher bandwidth capabilities. We obviously here in Qatar are very fortunate. Our service providers have a lot of bandwidth and our connection rates are pretty decent with fiber to the home. So I don't think we suffered as much as other areas in the world. And then to facilitate remote learning, educators needed the right teaching tools, a functioning learning management system, a student information system, and the need for the right technology to be in place if they needed to include the high flex model with both synchronous and asynchronous teaching. And then finally, while many universities have been offering, some type of e-learning over the years, many faculty members had never taught a class online before. And it requires a very different skill set to be able to teach online and keep your class engaged. And they really needed to receive extensive professional development to make virtual learning successful. So if we look at post-COVID-19, which hopefully one day we'll get there, if we talk about preparing for that post-pandemic period, many educational institutions will be faced with new realities, potentially lower student enrollments as a heightened awareness for what technology can and cannot do. And we have seen that, and we have seen that not only have course requirements been investigated, but students have investigated what technology is on offer at the educational facilities and what experiences they can enjoy whilst they are attending those courses. The assumption will be that we'll be seeing a significant increase in technology use. And, will you encounter new challenges as students hit your infrastructure when they return to the campus, as their expectations rise for high speed and everywhere connectivity as they are used to at home? Will you have the right security implementations? Also now with MOPH requirements where dealing with social distancing requirements and possible contact tracing, can you potentially utilize your existing network environment to provide the location data, but without exposing personal student information? And provided that we'll be dealing with, several different teaching and learning modalities this new academic year, you will need to review your cyber attack defense system and work with all your stakeholders to figure out how to keep the students engaged, whether they're on the campus or learning from home. And this is really where Aruba ESP Edge Services Platform comes into play, the foundation for digital transformation in education. Aruba ESP is really designed to deal with these challenges. It is the industry's first AI-powered platform designed to unify, automate, and protect the edge and the environment. Aruba ESP uses 4 key elements supported by deep resources of HPE to enable organizations to capitalize on new opportunities faster, as well as reducing the costs, and to stay secure. And I'll give a highlight of each technology area, but if you would like to know more, please feel free to reach out to us for a follow-up session. I'm conscious of time here. I can see I'm already quite against it. And ESP is really a decent discussion and has a phenomenal breadth and depth to it. So the 3 of the 4 are key technology attributes. If you think about 3 technology pieces and hardware and software themselves. And the 4th is our HPE Financial Services wrap. So if I touch on each of the technology areas, we start with AIOps. Aruba AIOps uses artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics capabilities to really provide IT teams with what we would call the 6th sense, as it were, really needed to predict problems and issues before they impact students or the facility themselves. And the AIOps solution goes beyond AI-based problem resolution to automatically and continuously optimize your network performance. And in fact, it can detect issues on your network, and automatically contact our tech support, for example, and have them start working on your issue, whilst at the same time making you aware that you're currently having an issue, whereas the tech may have resolved it by the time you've logged into the system. And then for contact and location tracing, we are uniquely applying AI and machine learning to location data to enhance the insight and efficiencies of downstream applications for location and usage analytics. And if we look at the unified infrastructure, it's really the nuts and bolts of the architecture, as it were. It breaks down those operational silos I referenced earlier. And we have a phenomenal breadth and depth to our networking portfolio today to really be able to provide technology for virtually any use case and to provide a consistent operational experience across not only the wired and the wireless, but across the wide area network at the same time, as well as your remote campus, be it a campus, a branch, a data center, or your remote connections. And all from a single cloud native pane of glass console, Aruba Central, allowing IT administrators to really be able to eliminate those manual processes, as it were, of moving information from place to place or trying to correlate information across multiple views or through manual processes. The other key thing, as I've been talking about, is security. Now, ESP helps zero trust security by really ensuring the identity of wired and wireless endpoints, as well as IoT devices in your network. And we also have an OT device connection into that part as well, where you can secure operational technology devices like BMSs and those types of systems coming into environment. So what it does is it enforces the role and identity-based policies to these endpoints. And that's really thanks to Aruba's innovations with things like dynamic segmentation, our layer 7 policy enforcement firewall, and it allows our customers to address those increasing threats which we're seeing within the environments today by really helping to enforce the security and the privacy required for solutions, especially things like remote access to your systems and contact and location tracing. And then our flexible consumption and financing options via HPE Financial Services and HPE GreenLake to really help ease the stress on budgets and resource constraints, offering from software as a service to network as a service, and these options that can provide access to equipment quickly within limited budgets. The other key thing now is how that innovation on using existing architecture absolutely evolves. The beauty of using things like ESP architecture, as flexible and agile as it is, using Aruba Central, we have now flexibility added with the power of Wi-Fi analytics and the central dashboard. We'll be able to help out and provide, as well as cross-reference space usage, proximity alerts, as well as contact tracing. And this is all available to our customers using Aruba ESP. So absolutely phenomenal for our existing customers where we can add these services on top as they become new into the industry and to the fore. We quickly touch on remote connectivity. One of the key things during the last year was really being able to provide a multitude of options to our customers, be it both education or in the corporate world, for remote secure connectivity. And with Aruba, we can tailor different remote options for our customers, from hardware all the way through to software. And again, I like my 4 key components. And there's 4 key components really to Aruba remote solutions. If we talk about the client end of the solution, we have the connectivity endpoints. Like I mentioned, there's a variety of different options with hardware and software options. We have our encrypted VPN tunnels that is terminated or concentrated at a headend or corporate network via a gateway appliance or a cloud gateway, for example. And then we have our zero trust security framework, which is absolutely key to being able to secure the environment with our embedded layer 7 policy enforcement firewall that enforces at the gateway and identity-based access defined by ClearPass Policy Manager. And this is all obviously centrally managed via our cloud-native management via Aruba Central. Talking about the software and the hardware elements here, we have our VIA software client, which is really designed to be installed on any smartphone or any laptop. And you can create a traditional style VPN connectivity for your end users via that. And it connects to a VPNC or a cloud gateway or on-site gateway. Next, which is actually a very interesting and unique product to us, is something we call the RAP, or the remote access point. And a RAP can be a physical device or a deployment mode of any existing Aruba access point, in fact. While any existing Aruba AP can be used as a RAP, however, dedicated RAP form factors are available, and they provide extra ports on the back to connect other devices like IP phones, additional switches if you need more switch ports in the area, printers, and they are great for not only standing up a remote connection and pushing out your corporate SSIDs, be it at a home or extending your university SSIDs or education SSIDs, but they are great for standing up remote branch sites or small offices very quickly. In fact, we use this technology to help Hamad to really stand up the COVID-19 centers, the vaccination centers, to help them quickly connect into their existing environments. The next step, then in terms of Aruba instant points, the next step up in terms of size of deployment, if we look at Aruba instant APs, it's really about forming a small controller-based instant cluster where one of the APs takes the controller functions, and it's really out provided.
Sorry to interrupt. We just have 1 minute to go. We've already exceeded the time, but last 1 minute is left. Sorry to interrupt.
All right, then let me quickly jump into Silver Peak then. If we talk about remote access further and talk about expanding the branch or remote site footprint, Silver Peak SD-WAN is really the way to go. We've been hard at work engineering the industry's most complete WAN edge solution, which is our Unity Edge Connect, to really help our customers build a better WAN environment. And, it comprises really of 3 key elements here, where we have our Edge Connect, which is a zero-touch appliance, hardware or virtual, that addresses performance needs of the WAN, regardless of the transport layer. We have our centralized orchestrator, where you have the central point of management, where it enables simplified configuration and orchestration of your entire WAN environment. And you create your business intent overlays to ensure all your connectivity and network are tuned to the needs of the business. And they're automatically pushed out to the branches. You do not need to configure anything at the branch, which is absolutely phenomenal. And then for applications where latency is an issue, Silver Peak is the only SD-WAN solution that enables you to add WAN optimization with a click of a box on the orchestrator. We call this an optional solution. Well, it's an optional solution, and we call it Unity Boost. If I can just touch on the last 4 key points here on Silver Peak. This is my last slide. If you just bear with me here for a minute, if we go back to my 4 key points, I really like my 4 key points. And around Silver Peak, there are really 4 that set us apart. We're business driven by deploying the Silver Peak Edge Connect platform. Enterprises really ensure that the priorities of their business are kept in mind and are always reflected in the way the network behaves. And it's a top-down approach for us. And centralized orchestration, really being able to deliver that management of the policies. And then the Silver Peak platform ensures the highest quality of experience for both the end users and IT, with optimal performance levels of things like voice and video over traditional broadband circuits, and with end-to-end visibility and analytics, really being able to do that real-time deep dive analysis of the environment. And continuous adaptation of the Edge Connect platform, powers real-time response, eliminating the impact of things like brownouts and blackouts, as monitoring analytics, detect changing conditions and trigger immediate adjustments to the environment, to the network environment, so they can take alternate route paths or use WAN optimization to be able to really provide that best circuit possible. And then the unified platform, Silver Peak is designed from the ground up as one system, uniting the SD-WAN circuits, the firewalls, the segmentation, the routing, as well as WAN optimization and application visibility and control in one simple platform, absolutely key, and all being driven through our orchestrator and driving back into Aruba Central. So I know I've pushed the time a bit here, so I thank you guys very much for your time, and stay safe and stay connected. And I thank you very much for your time. And please feel free to reach out to us at any time if you'd like to know more about ESP or Silver Peak. We're happy to do a presentation or to come to your site and have a discussion about any challenges you may be facing in your environment and how we can help you resolve those for the future.
Yeah, Michael, we have one quick question for you. Does Aruba Networks provide firewall?
So we have a layer 7 application-aware firewall within our controller that we utilize for things like dynamic segmentation, and that ClearPass Policy Manager uses a lot for being able to secure our environment. So it's not a traditional type firewall. It's more about using it in the Zero Trust framework to be able to secure our users via a role-based identities within the environment. So it's not there to replace an existing firewall that you may be able to get from a Palo Alto or a Fortinet.
All right, perfect. Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. That was very insightful. Next up, we have a panel discussion on the importance of cybersecurity in the education sector, which is going to be moderated by Dr. Pradeep Sharma. The screen is all yours now, Dr. Pradeep.
Thanks, Karan. So, first of all, I'd like to thank Michael for the interesting talk. So I'm looking forward to have some discussion with you in near future. So this is Pradeep Sharma. I'm assistant professor at the University of Aberdeen. So my research expertise in blockchain security, software-defined networking, and with more focus on edge computing and AI technique. So I like to thank to each panel members to join this session. So here I will gonna invite each panelist to come and introduce about themselves. So I would like to first invite Ashraf Said. He is IT network manager from Qatar International School. So could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Yes, sir.
You can see me now?
Yeah.
My name is Ashraf Saeed from Qatar International School, work as IT networking manager, as you know, and probably everyone here in discussion portal know about Qatar International School. It's from biggest school in Qatar, or from the biggest anyway. Where our school is the largest school, 2,000 students, about 300 staff, about 1,000 plus computer and network, and of course connected with cyber security, and we're using hypervisor. And also now we start using the cloud. Yeah, especially after this situation right now, we focus much more in cloud. Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, yeah, thanks. So we also have Ajam Khan. He's a vice principal of Ideal Indian School, Doha.
Thank you, Pradeep. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're pretty much audible.
Okay. First of all, I'm vice principal of Ideal Indian School. You have told already that one. With due respect to Mr. Ashraf Saeed, that he has told his school is the largest school in Doha, Qatar. Maybe in British or American curriculum, maybe that is the largest. But whereas CBSE and Indian curriculum, there are schools here with 7,000 students and 6,000, 5,000. We have 14 Indian schools here. I belong to one of these big schools. I started my career as a teacher 26 years ago. But present in this Ideal Indian School, I'm working for 23 years. I joined here as a teacher, gradually promoted to vice principal. From teacher, I worked as a activity coordinator, then a discipline in charge, then assistant headmaster, then headmaster. At present, I'm vice principal. So that's it about me. About you, Mr. Pradeep.
Yeah, and you got an interesting number, and you got lots of experience. Thanks for joining us. So we also have Edina Fernandez. So she's vice principal in Birla Public School, Doha.
Yes. Hello, Pradeep, and a very good evening to everybody over here and all my fellow panelists as well. So yes, as Pradeep introduced, I'm Edna Fernandez. I'm the Vice Principal for Birla Public School here at Qatar. As what Azam sir said, one of the Indian schools here at Qatar with about 7,500 students. We have 500 teachers. And as rightly said, here we have all the Indian schools, which are what we take pride in is our numbers. So, yes, so that's about me. I'm an educationist for the past 19 years now, and a proud educationist and an author. And I've written a series of books for children. And yes, that's all about me in a nutshell. And in the administrative education field, just as an administrator and a vice principal for the past 12 years now. So thank you for having me on this platform.
Yeah, thanks. Edna. So we also have Bert Van Cleven. My apologies, like if I pronounce your name incorrectly. So could you please introduce yourself?
It's close enough. My name is Bart van Klaveren. I am the IT administrator in the Qatar Finland International School. It's a very small school, 700 students, 750 about. And I take care of all the IT needs there.
All right. Thanks for joining us. So, all right. So, in this discussion, I will gonna ask some set of questions to each panelist, and would invite them to share their personal view. And it's worth mentioning that their view don't represent their organization. All right. So, we'll get going. So, as we know that in recent years, due to the sharp increase in remote learning and virtual classroom, so education sector experience we use cyber security threats. My first question will be now how we can protect the educational institutes against the cyber threats. So I would like to invite first Ashraf said. So could you please share your viewpoint?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, especially in school, of course, Indian schools from the largest school in Qatar, and I made the IT manager before, and from the best school in Qatar in a way. Okay, so back to schools, how to protect the schools from cybersecurity. You need to be sure, like basic stuff, software up to date all the times, install malware, antivirus, use encrypted passwords, and like hire internal ambassadors for security, and you know, keep yourself up to date every single day is what going on with cyber life. It's not easy subjects. Whatever you do, you can't be protected 100%. As you know, any solutions talk about security, we just say we will protect you 99%. And all my life, I'm looking for this 1% missing and will never find. So it will be keep you like busy every single day, up to date. Keep looking, monitor your system, uh, like follow all cyber security news. And the most important, train your staff. This is the most important. Train your staff very well how to use emails. Don't click unknown link. And you know, I mean, most of people here know about what I'm talking about. That's it for security. It's a lot of things to do the best. This is all you can do, just to do the best to protect, and will never happen to be secure 100%. That's it. So to do in our schools, we'll keep up to date every single days, like all software must be up to date. We use clouds in some situations. We have disaster recovery on other side, and yeah, we'll have to keep our eye open all the times for what's going on around us.
Yeah, thanks for sharing it. This is pretty much clear. So Ajam, would you like to go next and share your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you, Pradeep. I can see Mr. Ashraf Syed has thrown light on most of the valuable points regarding the cybersecurity. I would like to reiterate on these, like he said, that keep the software up to date. That's very, very important. That see, if you forget to update your software by a year or so, definitely it becomes easy access for the hackers or you know, criminals to have an access to your software. Then always we need to install anti-malware or antivirus. That is very important for any educational organization. See, always it's like the criminals are cyber criminals, we can say. They are a step ahead of the really the one who making these applications for constructive purposes. They always find a way to break through into our systems and steal valuable information. You know, in present days, you know, information is money, data is money. So they go to any extent to steal this information. Then another important aspect of protection is you need to have your passwords as difficult as possible, using uppercase, lowercase, symbols. Never use use the words from the dictionary or your date of birth, you know, or your parents' names. These are all very quite easy. People commonly do these mistakes. And then training is most important part, because you see a year and a half before, you know, teachers were not knowing even the basics of this technology, many of them. But believe me, in this 1.5 years, we have traveled a long way through. Many of our teachers have updated themselves. See, it is very important to keep you updated. You know, see, if you are not updated, you are outdated. So for that, you need to be always keep yourself updating. and our teachers are doing a tremendous job. Last year, we introduced this online teaching. Many of them don't even know how to operate this Zoom platform. Even today we are facing some mistake. Believe me, today I had one teacher complaining me, sir, there is someone, she sent me a screenshot saying that, sir, there is someone trying to join in your name. I suspect, is it you? But the fact is, it was not me. It is someone else who is trying to join the class only to tease the teacher or disturb the peace there. So then another important point is appoint IT experts who can in turn train your teachers. Constant training is required. Those days have gone where we need to focus only on educational pedagogy. Of course, to focus on educational pedagogy, we have a team, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we have proper people with strong technical knowledge to protect our information. Nowadays, many schools are hiring these ERP systems where we are sharing all our information. Once that is gone, we are vulnerable to different security threats. So then that's it from my side, and it's over to you, Mr. Pradeep. Go ahead, because I don't want to take all the time. There are other panelists also to speak as well. Okay.
Thanks for sharing your point of view. I'm strongly agree with your point you have mentioned about to take necessary actions against the cyber threats. So how about Adriana? So what do you think about how we can protect our educational institutes against cyber threats?
Okay, so Pradeep, I will be a little more personalized on what we do at Birla, because then I would not repeat the points that Mr. Khan and Mr. Syed have said now. So I'll say something apart from that. So right now, as rightly as Mr. Khan said, that why are educational institutions targeted? Now they're basically targeted because, as Sir said, we are a gold mine of personal data. So we have sensitive data, both for student, for staff, we have intellectual property, all the scientific research data. So all this is there with us. So because of which, we become prey or a very easy target. So the first thing that we advocate our teachers and students to do is to be very proactive as far as security awareness is concerned. So in very simple terminologies, if I have to say, educate the educators, which is, I think, the need of PR. And, we take it very relaxed. We think we know everything, being the so-called academicians. But the truth is, as far as security, cyber security goes, or anything on the IT field goes, the present pandemic has made us realize how more equipped we need to be with the present changes. So yes, as all of them said that we need strong passwords. We should have a vulnerability assessment done from time to time again, and see which are the areas in our institution that could be exploitable, and we need to regularly monitor them as well. At Birla, there's one unique thing that we do, which I would like to share with all of you, and that is, like you have a grievance cell, you have a complaints committee. At Birla, we have something called as the IT security cell. So, that is something that schools can adapt and follow, which has the head boy, the head girl. We have certain representatives from the student community. We have the IT manager, some of the assistants, and we have the IT teachers as well. So what do they basically do is they are a forum that looks into any complaints, any issues, or any sort of breaches that would happen in due course, especially now as we're doing the Zoom classes during the pandemic. Also, there's one more thing that has brought our attention after these classes have started, the online classes, that we need to focus more on creating an IT budget, which is also focusing on cybersecurity, which unfortunately educational institutions do not do. So that is one point where I feel, and the workshops. we do a lot of workshops for the children and for the teachers, especially now that we have switched on to the online mode. But it becomes even more important that we teach our children how to protect their digital assets and how to move forward with it. Just simple things like do not open an unknown message. It could just pop up to something else, or as both sirs said, that have strong passwords. So these are very simple things, but do we practice it in our daily lives? No. So these are the few things that we believe at Birla we've started practicing. And yes, as academicians, we need to, as I would like to say, we need to educate ourselves the best practices that the IT has to offer us. Thank you, Pradeep. Over to you.
Thanks, Edina. We can have that slogan educate the educators. Yeah, it's worth mentioning that so financial budget that we can have as an organization. So we have to go for the risk assessment and we have to identify what are the steps that we can take based on our financial budgets to improve the cybersecurity. So Bert, I'm sorry, again, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So what's your point of view about this?
I actually have very little to add. I think we're doing the same thing as all the others are doing, and that is making sure your servers and your devices are up to date, and make sure that the staff members understand the risks and take care of the things that they do. We have regular professional development sessions. There is very little else you can do, really. I think the biggest problem is not so much viruses and so on. I think nowadays it is more the social engineering that keeps me up at night. People are getting very clever in copying the layout of certain emails and making it look really good, and so much personal information is known about everybody that it is very hard to see the difference between a real email and somebody who's trying to spearfish you. So I think in that aspect, I plan to do a little more this year to make people aware of how to recognize something which is real and which isn't.
Yeah, that's great. I'm quite agree with you, and you can see that to strengthen cybersecurity, especially in the education environment. So students, teachers, all the staffs, we need to require the access of mixture of education and cybersecurity solution. So even the panel members also mentioned about we need to go through undergo security awareness training. We need to keep software up to date, choosing a strong password and installing antivirus, anti-malware, and there are lots of things. Yeah. So I have one follow-up question. So what are the challenges for the education institutes would like to face now or down the line of next 5 or 10 years to ensure the cybersecurity? So Bert, would you like to go first and share your viewpoint?
A lot of challenges. That's a good question. I don't see any major challenges. It's just doing what we're doing right now, keeping yourself up to date about the latest technologies and threats, and share this knowledge within your organization. I think that I understand things in the technology field better than teachers do. And they are experts in the things that they do. I am not going to tell them how they should teach, but I can share my expertise and help other people to make their jobs easier, and do it safe.
All right. Yeah. Because the reason behind I mentioned this thing is like the technology is changing frequently, like, and sometimes it's very difficult to train our staffs, faculty members, and students to keep up to date. And so Adina, so what's your point of view? Like, what are the challenges that we can face? Maybe you can currently facing or will like to face down the line for the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah. Actually, when this topic was given, I was just surfing and I came to realize that there was a survey done and between 17 industries, and we came to know that, the educational sector is the one that actually ranked last as far as cybersecurity preparedness goes. And that should actually be enough for, pressing the alarm button for all of us. And that comes, the first challenge, what I think comes from this fact that I said earlier, that is educating the educators, the maturity that the academician should have as far as their digital assets goes, not just their digital assets, which they own, which they operate, and they have in the school as well. So recognizing the importance of that, yes, that is one of the biggest challenges. But I think with the online education, that is something that we are ironing out right now. The next thing is about, especially for, the schools in Qatar, where you have a big number. So, having to process all the users and sort of process and control the entire thing. I think that itself is a, humongous task at hand. And it becomes very tedious for the IT people, especially at the education field, which Mr. Said would agree with me on that. It becomes very difficult with the numbers to sort of, propagate and function the whole IT department and the IT functioning. So the next thing I would also say what a challenge could be, the gadgets, the different gadgets that the children use. Are they aware of how to use them? Are they aware and have they been given a proper guidance with the security measures that they should follow? That is another one. And lastly, like what Mr. Khan started off with, that, when you have some people from outside coming, auditing you. So those people, they have our data in their hands. The ERP, as Sir said, okay, they have our data in our hands, in their network, our portal. So at that point of time, I think we are in a very vulnerable, a very naive situation where we are unleashing or opening ourselves to, somebody else, to very sacred data. So these, I feel, are the main challenges that educational institutions have at the moment.
Yeah, thanks, Adina. Like now, as you said, it's quite easy to have access those sensitive data, especially in the education sector. And yeah, we also need to focus on the type of cyber security practices that we are following. Especially, it should be like more user centric, like whether it's going for the students, whether so even in students we have a different categories, staffs, and other things. So yeah, it's a good point to mention that we should have more user centric cyber security. So how about Ajam? So what do you think about that? The challenges which you would like to face in future?
Yes, Mr. Pradeep, see, now both the speakers, Mr. Bhatt and Ms. Edna, have highlighted quite a few points. I agree completely with them. First and foremost is in coming up 10 years, is it possible for the educational institution to make sure that the teachers know the technology better than the students do? So it's always, students are far ahead in using technology than the teachers. And where I'll give one example. In our classrooms, we use interactive panels. Whenever, though our senior teachers who are there already working, they know how to use it. When a new recruit comes, then it becomes like the students are training the teachers inside the class. So we need to, this is a big challenge. We need to make sure that the coming up generations who are becoming teachers, they should have this cyber security as one of the subjects in their curriculum. That is very, very important. They should be very well acquainted with the technology. That is one thing. Secondly, I said, like Ms. Edna said, hereafter educational institutions need to spare budget for training or for hiring technology. You know, it's not that easy. When you hire lines from these telecom companies, what's happening is when you use all, maybe you say it's at a time used in 300 classrooms, you started to lose the connectivity because of the load. And each time you approach these telecom companies, what's the reason it's happening? They come up with a reason that you need to go for a higher band, where that means you need to pay more. So this is what happens now. Whatever the income the educational institutes were having, we were investing in finding new teachers or training the teachers to be well equipped with the with the pedagogy or whatever teaching instruments are there. But now they need to spare a lot of amount for this equipment as well, technical equipment as well, and at the same time to train the staff.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Pretty much agree with you. And I would like to add one more point here. Like, so whenever we talk about like for such as like, undergo a security awareness training. So we as a employer, we also have to make sure that it should not be, it should be like, work balance for the staff members, so that, like we're adding this kind of training to the staff. So it should not be like, too much for them, and, they can easily, just carry forward. So it's always, what to mention these things, like, even we are practicing these things, we have to make sure our workload for the staff members. So Ashraf, so what's your point of view in these things?
In fact, Mr. Khan, I agree with him in a very important point. When he mentioned students know IT more than teachers, which is completely true. And as everyone knows, little kids, they're very interested in IT and hacking. So you're facing problem from outside and inside. So, I believe the best we can do here, like creating a strong security policy, which I'm trying to do. I'll try, to teach it or to train the teachers. Still, it's not easy because most of teachers, as Mr. Khan and other colleagues know, they're not really interested to know about IT. They need to do his business. He just busy with what he's doing. So it's not really focused much to know. He need to do his business and go. But it's very important. I was asked for teachers to get in ICDL, like International Commuter Driver License, now should be required was included cybersecurity. It's very important, very, very important. We need also invest more money, like as I mentioned, for cybersecurity plans. Myself, I'm focused too much to create a strong policy, of course, for teachers, for staff, and same times I'm trying to do disaster recovery sites. Yeah, because it will be happen, and myself, if you ask me, I don't believe in security. Whatever you do, you will find one teachers or one kids will click the wrong link and you'll be in trouble. So my focus, DR, disaster recovery sites, even more than one disaster recovery site, like the cloud disaster recovery included premises as well. But currently we spend 40% of IT budget just for security, to keep secure. Our emails, we have 2 copies. We have one in cloud, of course, with security. We have best VPN or firewall, you can say. But still, is it secure? My answer, no.
Yeah. Thanks. And I strongly agree with you. Like, it's worth mentioning that apart from the security practice, we also need to think about the disaster management. Like, after how we will recover it after any cyber attacks happen. So we are pretty much running out of time. So I will gonna ask this short and quick, sweet questions to each panel member, and I would expect to just answer as short as possible. So Ashraf, so what are the best advice for someone starting in career in the cybersecurity industry?
Yeah, of course, you need to, it's very interesting. You need to join conference, and to join blogs about security. You need to get hand dirty, you make his own lab, practice, make own scenario, reading. Like, for example, he have a lot of scenario to choose from. In Canada, 2020, I think 360 teachers get hacked. Like 360 in one province only. So for new cybersecurity, they have a lot to do. He can be busy, like minimum 12 hours a day. He can do his own lab, training, up to dates, you name it.
Yeah, thanks. So I have a quick question for Azam. So what has like the COVID-19 pandemic taught us about our workforce?
Yes, it is. It's indeed a very good question. There are so many lessons we have learned from this COVID-19. First and foremost, to be prepared with everything. You never know what life throws at you. So, we were all caught up all of a sudden. If I remember, last year in the March, all of a sudden it was declared that there will be no physical schooling. We need to go online. We were in bit confusion, but later on, though, we adjusted very quickly. The thing is, be with online classes, we came to know that flexibility in work is as important as earlier the administration or whomever it is. If you are asking, I'm not speaking about educational institutions. In the other organizations, if you are asking that I'll sit at home and do online work, they may not permit you. Now the time has come where every organization are saying that work from home, its physical presence is not required. Not only that, there was a time when we used to tell the students not to bring electronic gadgets to the school. But now the school has come through the electronic gadgets. So there are many lessons to learn. Yeah, now most importantly is a lesson we are learning at present, keeping our fitness. Earlier being in the schools, you are on the move, you are standing, you are walking around. But now sitting at home, sitting in front of your system, hours together, it's not at all good for our health. So we need to keep ourselves fit. We need to spare time for our personal wellness. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks. And it's worth mentioning about like personal health apart from this online classes and teaching. So coming to Edna, so you all know have a slightly different thoughts. So how would you suggest like the cybersecurity as a potential career option?
Yeah, I always, right now, as I said, again, when I was reading the similar article, it was written that in 2021, there would be an estimated 3.5 million vacant positions as far as cybersecurity industry goes. So that itself tells you what a big market and a potential market it is. So we have a dearth of cybersecurity experts at the moment, which makes it so very valuable a profession. And it's rapidly growing. It's a rapidly growing field, especially if you see in the US and the UK. Right now it's becoming increasingly very hard to find cybersecurity experts, and it's very, very expensive to hire them. So that tells you that it's a lucrative job. So, I would actually advise all my students to, use their talents at the right places. As they are so tech savvy, we say, our children have technology on their fingers and on their hands, but do they have security on their hands as well? So that is something that, we need to ask and we need to counter. As far as Qatar goes, in Qatar, you have a lot of, colleges that are offering at the moment, bachelors in sciences, in computer sciences and information sciences and cybersecurity. So some of them to mention are the Qatar University itself, and which has partnered with the Open University at UK, and we are launching a lot of free online programs. There'll be capsule programs like 40-hour programs and all that, which children can enroll into and develop. CCQ, CAN, all these universities are offering a lot of bachelor courses. And if you want to take it further at a master's level in cybersecurity, even College of Sciences, Science and Engineering in Hamad University, they are offering a really, really good course. And you have a lot of certification courses where you have ethical hacking. You can become an ethical hacker. You can be an hacking forensic investigator. You can be a network defender. You can be a security analyst. So, the spectrum is huge and wide for children today to actually, capture the world of cybersecurity. So yes, I would like to end by saying that it's a truly rewarding and indispensable career that, all students should potentially vouch for. So thank you, Pradeep.
Yeah, thanks, Arina. It's like, sure, but it's, you just given the entire spectrum of that. Yeah, that's really good. And I also think that, so if the students start practicing the security practices, it really helps to shape our society and make it more secure and safe. So coming to Bert, so the final question will be like, how did, the switch from on-site to online teaching go during the pandemic, and what are the challenges that we face as a organization?
Our teachers were highly qualified and very skilled in IT, and it actually took our teachers only 3 days to switch from fully online to fully on-site, other way around, from fully on-site to fully online in the beginning. I think the largest challenge was more with the parents, because they all of a sudden had to stay at home and stay with their children, and they had to have devices for their children, and especially in families with siblings. It is an enormous challenge. Not everybody has enough devices at home or the money to have a device for every student, and especially the younger ones. We have students as young as 5 years old, so they cannot be on the computer all the time. It just doesn't work. So it was hard trying to find the right balance about how much teaching will we do, and after that you need to let the students go and let them do the things that they have been given by the teachers, and then afterwards come back again and do an evaluation and what have you done, and share that with the group. So it was just trying to figure out what's a good balance between being online, still making sure that the mental health and the physical health of the students and the teachers is being taken care of. And so we had to spend a lot of time supporting the families in our switch in the early days, and we are doing much better, and it looks like we will continue doing this for a while. Thank God the vaccination rate is very high in Qatar, and hopefully we will be able to go back to a fully on-site, but let's see how long it will take.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, thanks. Whatever you mentioned about the challenges that we really faced, and as a faculty, I can say that so whenever you go for the online teaching, we are just struggling to get student to concentrate and get their attention. So I just like to add some points here. Like, so whenever I used to go for teaching, so I used to divide my contents into 3 different things. Like, you should have teaching presence, it should have cognitive presence, it should have social presence, to make sure that we can just engage our students doing online teaching. Yeah, so that's all pretty much in today's discussion. So thanks. I'd like to thank all the panel members to join this, and yeah, so I'd like to offer to Karan.
Yes, thank you. So it's become so important to build a robust cybersecurity infrastructure that cuts down all the risk and leaves no scope for any kind of breaches. So we just have one question, and then we'll wrap the session up. The question is from Mr. Sushil Kumar Singh. It's on various methodologies are available for securing the social applications and the education field. But today it is not completely secure. So is blockchain the possible technology for providing the complete secure environment for social applications and education field?
All right, so thanks, Sushil, for asking this question. So if you don't mind, like, I would like to go, since I have little expertise in the blockchain. Yeah, so blockchain is one of the potential solutions to provide the security, especially in the social application or the education, but still we need to emphasize more on, like, on the user centric, like, what kind of security that you'd like to provide. So then based on those things, we have to check whether the blockchain technology is capable enough to provide or not. If capable enough to provide, we have to also consider the different perspectives and use case scenarios. And let's suppose I can give an example of, like, the data we have. So a blockchain itself is a, like, very expensive technology, and it consumes lots of resources. So it's worth mentioning that, so what kind of problem that we're trying to solve, what kind of users we have, and what kind of data we have, and the volume of the data. So based on those things, we need to restructure the blockchain technology, and we have to check that whether this is a potential solution for that, solving that problem or not. Yeah. So any other panel member would like to add anything? So please go ahead.
See, Mr. Pradeep, no matter what kind of technology you're going to apply, there are always, as I said in my introductory talk, that hackers, they'll find a way through. It's no, every day they are coming up with new phishing technologies. I would like to give an example. It's a lighter side, so that the atmosphere become a bit light. I will not take much time. 3 months ago, there was a ad on Facebook about Papa John's Pizza, that buy one get one free. So immediately I thought, okay, that was a weekend. I told my daughter, okay, go for it. Why don't you place an order? So she placed an order, and OTP came to my mobile. I'm about to tell, I told my OTP, but my daughter, before anything, just checked the amount once. It's showing 5,000 USD. If she would have entered that OTP, I would have lost this amount. That page looks so genuine, you cannot make out that it's not Papa John's. See, taking this experience into consideration, now there is a promotion going on by Doha Bank. If you take same Facebook, now even I'm suspecting this now, whether it is genuine or not. I call this Doha Bank people, find out, do you have any promotion like this? Then they said, yes, sir. Now, how to differentiate between what is genuine, what is fake? No, no matter what kind of technology you apply, there will be always breaches. Only way is to keep updating yourself, and we need to always think ahead of the hackers. That's the only solution for this.
Yeah, thanks. I'm fully agree with you. Like, the hackers say one step always ahead of us. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, that's pretty much. So,
I think Mr. Ashraf wanted to add something.
Oh, I'm agree with Mr. Khan is what he's saying, and to compete with hackers, it's a headache. you know what? Whatever you have, whatever security you have, of course, the hackers have the same or even better. Still, again, I will just stress training and open your eye all the time. Of course, yeah, like to keep yourself up to date, the best firewall, whatever, best antivirus, up to every single date up to date, but still open your eye. It's end of the day, it's you, it's yourself, it's your teachers. You need to be aware and how to deal with unknown emails and still security is not easy topic at all. And I don't think we'll get to the point anytime will be free hacking. It will be not happen. That's it. That's all from me.
Thanks, Ashraf.
Thank you. So with that, we come to the end of the session. Thank you everyone for your time. Thank you, Ashraf. Thank you, Azam, Pradeep, Edna, and Bart. Thank you so much for your time and have a nice evening.
Yes.
Thank you,
Nice
Karan, for
meeting
having
you
us.
all. Nice meeting you
Yeah,
all.
thanks, guys.
Yeah, and good luck.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Bye.
Bye.